Hello everybody and welcome to my impressions of the Elden Ring network test. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to Tatty for giving me access to his network test key. I love you, thank you very much. And also I want to just have a quick one on my credentials for Souls, because I think they're kind of important. I've played and finished Bloodborne and Sekiro. Both are incredible games. Bloodborne is just one of my favourite games of all time. It's just amazing. And then I've also played Dark Souls 3 and 2. Never played 1. I played a remaster on the PC for about 3 hours, then never went back to it. But yes, I finished 2 and played a lot of 3. However, sadly, I didn't finish 3 due to some family issues at the time, though I do really want to go back to it because I loved the art style in 3. Anyway, Elden Ring. What is it like? Does it live up to the hype? What are the changes like? Is it just an open world, even Dark Souls? It's not. Let's get into it. Alright, so firstly, what does Elden Ring play like? What does it feel like? I'm going to start off this impression by saying Elden Ring feels like something special. You load in and it just feels like the first time playing a video game as a kid. I don't know how to explain it. There's very few games that do that for me as I get older. Breath of the Wild was the last one where I felt like a kid again. Breath of the Wild was amazing. And to be fair, Red Dead Redemption 2, though, it took a while for me to feel that way about Red Dead Redemption 2. It definitely was also one of those games. But what I would say about Elden Ring, the best compliment I can give it, it's Breath of the Wild meets Shadow of the Colossus meets Bloodborne and Sekiro and Dark Souls. If that doesn't make you want to play this game, I don't know what will. When I say Shadow of the Colossus, what I mean is, first of all, those open world bosses that are roaming, that are extremely deadly, but also, in a way, finding those caves and dungeons and exploring and finding different ashes in there, different summons in there. It's so rewarding and it's so kind of hands-off. It's so let you go and explore. They don't hold your hand. There's a light bit of guidance on where you need to go. Other than that, do whatever you want. And honestly, it's beautiful. Replace Breath of the Wild's puzzles with Bloodborne or Dark Souls style dungeons with the standard traps and tricky enemy placements and a boss at the end, and you've basically got Elden Ring. And honestly, it was an incredible experience. I played the beta for only about 7 hours, but what I can tell you is that already it was easily my favorite game of the year. It was beautiful to play. I loved the fact that it took a bit more of the Bloodborne and Sekiro style mechanics and put them in the game and added a bit of aggressiveness to the combat. I think one direction that they have taken on Elden Ring is it feels like the developers are quite wary of the open world issue, having a lot of enemies fighting you at the same time. And obviously in games like this you can die very quickly. So I think they've given the player more tools and they've made it less punishing in terms of travel, in terms of logistics, in terms of going back and forth between fights. But as a result, they have kind of made some of the normal fights easier. But in return, what they've done is they made the boss fights tougher. The bosses just seem to hit harder. And I think that's also amplified by the fact that you have no set path to meet these bosses. And therefore, sometimes you'll meet them when you're way under-leveled. But like in all games that From Software make, you can still kill that boss. That boss is killable. You just got to be good enough, which, quite frankly, I really wasn't half the time. But it was wonderful to have that level of freedom in a FromSoft game. It was amazing just to traverse the world and just see these huge monsters in the horizon. It was great to discover a dungeon and just think, oh, what's down here? And then find something. Find something that's actually really useful. I found a summon that really helped me on a boss fight. I found some ashes that allowed me to have like a giant spectral sword, which really helped. And it's just cool to find these things. You're going to find these little rewards that will really help your playthrough just by exploring. And it's just a whole new level of depth, a whole new level of exploration and gameplay to the FromSoft Souls-like structure. And it's amazing. Honestly, it felt like a new game. It really, really did. I love the secrets. There's secrets everywhere in this game. There's one where there's like an invisible marking on the floor and you kind of follow it around. You don't really know what's going on. It turns out it's an invisible enemy. You hit it and you get an ashes. Well, I don't know if ashes of creation they're called, but basically it's like a skill you can put on one of your weapons. I mean, I don't want to go too much into the sort of more technical issues of the combat, but they've added some really, really nice things to the combat that just make it a bit more aggressive and gives you a bit more, well, I say a bit more, a lot more customization on builds. I think you're going to see a lot more varied playstyles and playthroughs in Elden Ring. I think that's brilliant. Rather than go to a guide and just kind of follow, like, what's the best weapon, what's the best this. Now, there were some balancing issues. I do feel some things were too powerful, some things were maybe too strong, and I think that might get a pass. If it doesn't, you may see a lot of people using magic and specific ashes of creation, or whatever they're called, weapon ashes, to get through the game. I do hope it's balanced a little bit, though. I will say, I think some of them are good risk reward, while some of them you could actually just throw from a million miles away. As for the overall look of the game, a lot of people have been criticizing it. What I'm going to say to people is, when has From ever been known to have high graphic fidelity? They've never really. It's always been about art direction. If there's one thing that sticks with your mind when you think about Bloodborne, is the incredible art direction, the atmosphere, dripping in that kind of, you know, Victorian style blood. It was amazing. And this game's no different, but in a different way. It's got a very unique art direction. It's beautiful. It's quite haunting at times. I'd say this is like a bit like an open world horror game sometimes. And it's really different. It feels different. It feels unique. It doesn't just feel like a Dark Souls game. In terms of performance, I do want to flag up performance. I was playing on the PS5. I don't think the performance was great. It was passable. And I think if it released like that, I think it would definitely get a bit of criticism on its performance. But it did have issues. Pop-up was a big one, and it broke immersion a lot of the times. I'm talking grass popping up right in front of you. You know, things just pop up pretty badly on a regular basis. FPS-wise now, I do feel this was linked to the network test, so I felt like sometimes my FPS would drop, and then maybe a minute later, like, my network connection would drop to the game. But other times, the FPS just wasn't a solid 60, even in performance mode. Now, in graphics mode, it was nowhere near 60. I mean, you're talking 40-ish, probably. And it does say that they are going to do 4K 60 FPS, but it was nowhere near that in the network test. And again, might be teething issues, but I just had to be really honest about that. But seriously, from the dungeons to the open world to the boss fights to the new things they've added to the combat to the guard parrying, to everything, it was amazing. And I am nothing short, absolutely excited as hell to play Elden Ring. Just to sit there and just explore the world and level up my character and get skills and kill bosses. And yeah, it is special. If you've got a console or a PC that can play it, it is a must purchase. If you like anything about FromSoft games, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And it just felt like the start of something new and something special. That's it, really. That's just me really just freestyling, just talking about Elden Ring, and I can't wait to play it. It's out February the 22nd, I think. And yeah, we will 100% be playing shit out of that. And you can watch me die a lot on stream. I died a lot in the network test, a lot. I was trying to fight everything and everybody, but it was a great experience.